everybody, and welcome to Young Hero Speaks, the show in which I give my honest opinion on whatever comes to mind. I am your host, ThatKidDouglas, aka the Young Hero, the internet's loneliest D-list personality, and today we're going to be doing a reflection video on the whole GamerGate movement and my personal involvement in it. So let's get started, eh? It's hard to believe that it's been almost 2 years since the GamerGate movement started. I mean, I never envisioned that it would even make it this far. I honestly thought it was just going to be, another one of these hashtag movements that's popular for like a few months and then it kind of just tapers off. But no, still to this day, it's going strong. And how I got involved in it was honestly just by accident. It was just something that happened, and I remember it like it was yesterday, and it feels like it was yesterday, despite the fact that it's been almost 2 years since it started. It was back in August of 2014, I believe it was August 19th, 2014 to be more accurate. I was going to my best friend Eric's house, otherwise known as Kinraiku, and, I was just sitting down, having some breakfast, starting the day or whatever, and I go on to one of the gaming sites that I frequent, n4g.com, and I come across this article saying, Zoe Quinn, blocks DMCA's Total Biscuit, or whatever the case will be. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, huh, that sounds really interesting. Let me click on it. It got my attention, and I clicked on it, and I found out what was going on. A site, which I honestly cannot remember the name of, that had posted the trappings, or the dealings, I should say, of Zoe Quinn, who is a female game developer best known for her game, Depression Quest. Her ex-boyfriend by the name of Aaron Gigioni, I think I'm saying that name right. I'm sorry if I butchered your name there, Aaron. It was basically a tell-all expose. It was a WordPress blog of all the things that Zoe Quinn had done. And I want to make it abundantly clear, if this had nothing to do with the gaming industry, if these were just some random dudes that she just happened to sleep with, then I honestly wouldn't have cared, because it wouldn't have been in the public interest. But what really caught my eye is that it had come out that she had slept with 5, yes, count them, 5 people in the video game industry, 4 of those being video game developers, and the latter being a video game journalist, a guy by the name of Nathan Grayson, who currently writes for Kotaku. And when I found that out, it was just shocking to me that this kind of stuff could go on. And the game industry, like any other industry, it can definitely be corrupt sometimes. There's definitely a lot of shady stuff that inhabit it, and that inhabits it. But honestly, I'd never seen something like this. I'd never seen such a meltdown since Jeff Gertzman got fired from GameSpot and the whole Kane and Lynch debacle. It was utterly insane. And then to find out that she DMCA'd a video 2 days prior by a guy named Mundane Matt, which, he's an awesome guy, you should totally subscribe to him, by the way, he makes really great content, talking about the situation, and it was called Hell Hath No Theory, like a lover scorned, and she didn't like what Matt was saying, so she DMCA'd it, purely to prevent this from going public. And I kind of just knew that this whole thing would blow up into something much more. I just had a funny feeling. And I'll be honest, I was initially reluctant to even want to talk about it, because it just seemed like it seemed like an absolute mess. It seemed like kind of a matter of he said, she said, It seemed like something far bigger than I really wanted to take on, because I love video games. I've been a gamer since 1999. It's something that I'm deeply passionate about. And so because I'm passionate, I fear that I would be a bit biased, and really also because I essentially was opening a can of worms and talking about people's personal lives and collusion and corruption and all that other stuff. And then, like, do I really want to talk about this? But then as I really thought about it, I realized that I needed to talk about it, because I owe it not only to myself, because I keep up with internet culture. My whole channel is based around it. But I owe it to you guys, because I like to keep my audience, my subscribers, in the loop of what's going on. And I thought this was an important issue that I needed to talk about and that people needed to know. So, literally, as soon as I got home that day, I made that video on Zoe Quinn, just basically outlining my feelings on the entire thing. And before I knew it, the whole movement just completely blew up. Like, it was everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. It was known as ZoeGate at the time. Like, not only were people doing videos about it, but it also attracted the attention of a lot of mainstream gaming publications, you know, Kotaku and Rock Paper Shotgun, and of course other outlets. Whereas people were utterly disgusted by the things that Zoe Quinn was doing to suppress criticism and essentially using her body to get ahead in the video game industry instead of using, I don't know, any genuine talent. There was also this other section of people, the anti-GamerGate people, who were just saying, "Oh, if you're a part of GamerGate, you hate women. It's misogyny, blah 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 blah." You know, there was all that rumblings about that, and it was a mess. It was just both sides going at each other like it was kind of like a war. Um, you know, at the time, and I hadn't really seen anything like it. And it was, to me, utterly insane. And I was so entrenched with it that I did like 5 or 6 more videos on the thing, like in the span of a week, which is more than I can which is more than I like to typically produce. I was just so interested in the topic, and it was more than just a slacktivist hashtag movement. It was something that slowly penetrated its way into the mainstream, and there was Reddit was the shadow banning tons of people and deleting thousands of comments that even dared to discuss it. NeoGaf was also deleting comments, and deleting threads of people discussing it. It was a really sensitive, hot button issue, and people were going to Twitter and like attacking each other, and again, it was like literally a war. And I engaged in my fair share of it as well, right? And I think if there is like the only like a regret that I had about it, I approached it from emotion and anger, and I really shouldn't have. I think I should have been a lot more rational, a lot more calm, a lot more professional about it, instead of using emotion and anger to drive my point. Because again, I love video games. I'm deeply interested in the industry. I like to keep in the loop of what's going on. So gaming is incredibly personal to me, and the fact that somebody was attacking it, or a group of people were attacking it, I felt like I needed to say something. And those were my motives behind it. Um, you know, and then when Adam Baldwin, off the TV show Firefly, started the whole GamerGate hashtag, that's when it really started to really kick off, and that's really started to intensify. And it didn't just decrease in popularity; it really increased in popularity. And people were talking about it. People were saying it's about ethics in game journalism. It's about combating corruption and going up against all of these radical feminists and social justice warriors and all this other stuff. Um, it was really a movement for change. And to be fair, a lot of the people that were attacking the whole movement, saying that, oh, it's just a bunch of whiny trolls, oh, it's just a bunch of misogynists, are honestly people that not only have a huge lack of understanding of what the movement was, of what the movement was actually about, but they also never took the time to try and research what was actually going on or why people felt the way that they did. A lot of people started the movement again because it was about ethics in game journalism. It was about corruption. It was about, you know, corruption. Is that corruption? Yeah, it was pretty much about corruption and like disclosure and all and all that other stuff, and that was really what it was about. And I was intrinsically in it for like a week or so, and then I kind of stopped for two reasons. One, at the time I had to go back to do my second year of college, and that was going to take up all of my time, and also because I'd kind of grown tired of it. And while I created an entire playlist, ZoeGate playlist, and I'll leave a link in the description if you want to watch all the videos in that playlist, compiling videos of that. honestly, it was just something that I grew tired of. It was not something that I wanted to make videos on long term. I wanted to move on to other projects and other topics. You know, I didn't want to stretch myself thin, and I felt like I'd pretty much said what I needed to say. I made my opinion known, and that it was really, you know, best to leave it at where it was, and that's why I kind of really abandoned the Gamergate movement after the final video that I did. I think it was Conspiracy, Lies, and Deception, you know. But I would still keep tabs on it every now and again, but, you know, I think it's really amazing to see how far the movement has come, you know, and the fact that it's been able to make a somewhat positive change, you know. It's donated to charities, you know. It's stood up against some of the biggest names in gaming journalism. It's gotten sites like IGN and The Escapist to change their ethics policy, you know. The Escapist, or Defy Media, which is the parent company of The Escapist, pretty much got rid of a majority of the people that worked at The Escapist. And while they said it was for budget cuts, it was this really funny thing that this Encyclopedia Dramatica article said. It was pretty much code for firing every social justice warrior that worked there, which is kind of true, you know. And whether you love it or hate it, it's hard to deny that it hasn't made an impact. It's gotten people talking about games, and it's gotten people talking about, you know, just integrity and, you know, disclosure and being ethical. And that's really what it's about. It's really about ethical. It's really about being ethical. And I foresee this movement continuing to go strong in the years to come because, let's be honest, gaming journalism is slowly dying. It's filled with corruption. And well, granted, yeah, it was slowly dying before GamerGate. After GamerGate, it's only helping to accelerate its just irrelevancy, you know? And I think in the years going forward, the movement will become stronger and stronger and really stronger, I think, you know? And as long as they don't lose sight of their main goals and keep on track with what the movement is, I think it'll last for a really long time. And to know that we all stood up and said, no, we are not going to accept this. We are not going to sweep it under the rug and pretend as if it's okay. We're going to say something about it. You know, we're not just going to accept what these media shills tell us. Is incredibly inspiring, and it's nice. It was truly awesome. It was truly amazing to see the gaming community actually come together for once and not be divided and, you know, not insult each other, but actually come together for a common goal, you know. And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. This is ThatKidDouglas, aka the Unhero, signing out. Deuces, stay frosty and keep it weird. Cue an outro sequence now.